We used to think airport security was about safety, but in 2026, it has become something else entirely. It's become a revenue engine.
Every single day, thousands of unsuspecting travelers are literally handing over hundreds of dollars at security checkpoints. Not for tickets, not for upgrades, but because they made one simple, fatal assumption that the rules they followed last trip are the same ones they have to follow today.
Newsflash, they aren't. And that gap between what you think the rules are and what the airport actually requires, it's being monetized. Confiscated high-end products, brutal rebooking fees, missed connections, non-refundable hotels. Oh, the list goes on and on.
It's quiet, systematic tax on unprepared travelers. And today we're going to show you exactly how to opt out of paying for it.
Now, a lot of travelers think that the first real checkpoint is the scam. Take off your belt, empty your pockets, and drink back that leftover water in one long chug. But the first real checkpoint is often the check-in desk.
Yeah, that is where the airline decides whether your passport, visa, travel authorization, return ticket, destination rules, and common sense are all arriving on the same flight. And if they're not, you may never even get to security.
This is the denied boarding trap. And it's brutal because people usually find out when it's already too late. Bags are packed, your ride to the airport is paid for, the hotel's booked, cruise is waiting, tours are prepaid.
And then the airline agent looks at the screen and says the most expensive sentence in travel. "I'm sorry, we can't check you in." That sentence can cost you more than anything you accidentally leave in a security bin.
Let's start with Europe, because this is where it's changing fast. Europe now has the entry-exit system, or the EES. That means for many non-EU travelers, your entry and exit are no longer just passport stamps. They are digitally recorded. And then there's the ETIAS. This is the one thing that people are going to mess up because it's not technically called a visa, which is exactly why it's a trap.
Once the ETIAS starts, visa-exempt travelers, including Canadians and Americans, will need travel authorization before going to many European countries.
So people will hear, oh, Canadians don't need a visa for Europe and think they're fine. But if the system requires ETIAS and you don't have it, then the airline can stop you right at check-in. Love the suitcase you got there. Great outfit. Shame you're not going anywhere.
And at this point, the airline doesn't care that you didn't know. Their job is to make sure you are allowed to enter the country before they put you on the plane. Because if they fly you somewhere that you're not allowed to enter, that becomes their problem too.
So, before any international trip, do not just ask, do I need a visa? Ask the better question. What exact entry authorization do I need for my passport, my destination, my connection, and my length of stay? Because those are not always the same answer.
Oh, and while we're here, let's talk about the no return ticket trap, because this one catches flexible travelers all the time.
You book a one-way ticket because you want freedom. Maybe you're visiting family, maybe you're backpacking, maybe you're taking a cruise and then flying home from somewhere else.
And then at check-in, the airline asks for proof that you are leaving the country, not because they're nosy.
What they're doing is they're asking because many countries require proof of onward return travel. If you can't show it, the airline may refuse to board you.
So now your flexible travel plan has become you standing beside a luggage scale, panic buying an Onward ticket on airport Wi-Fi that moves at the speed of a fax machine.
So if you are traveling on a one-way ticket, have proof of onward travel ready. A return flight, a cruise itinerary, a train ticket, a confirmed plan that shows you're not moving into Terminal 3 and starting a new life beside the charging station.
Now, let's also talk about the transit visa trap. This is one where people say, but no, I'm not even staying there. Well, beautiful. The government, they still may not care.
No. Some countries require a visa or travel authorization even if you're only connecting there. It can depend on your passport, your route, the airport, whether you change terminals, whether you collect your bag, or whether you pass through immigration.
So a connection is not always just a connection. Sometimes the country looks at your itinerary and says, "Congratulations, you are now my paperwork problem."
And this is especially important if you're connecting through places with strict transit rules, or through the United States, where many travelers have to clear immigration even when they're just passing through.
So before you book the cheapest flight with 3 connections and a layover long enough to question your life choices, check the transit rules, because saving $140 on a flight is not a win if you lose the whole trip at the first airport.
Now let's circle back to the passports. Your passport can be valid and still not valid enough. That's a line that people need to remember.
Confusing, I know, but some countries want your passport valid for 3 to 6 months beyond your trip. Some rules depend on where you're going, where you are connecting, and what passport you hold.
So if your passport expires in 4 months and the destination wants 6, the airline may not let you board. And this is where travel insurance often will not save you, because I forgot to check my passport date is not usually treated like a medical emergency or canceled flight.
That is paperwork neglect with a boarding pass, and you will be denied.
And while you're checking the passport, a good idea, check the name, ticket name, passport name, visa name, travel authorization name. They all need to match.
Not close enough. Not, but everybody calls me Dave. Not, well, my passport says Deborah, but my ticket says Deb because I was feeling casual.
At the airline again, they don't care what your friends call you. Your passport does not say, "Fun Deb from the internet."
No, and if you change your name after marriage, divorce, or any legal name change, make sure your documents and your booking match before you buy the ticket.
Because fixing a name at the airport can mean change fees, missed flights, or buying a brand new ticket at the worst possible price. So the next thing we want to touch on is the boarding time trap. Now, when people tell us, "Oh, I get to the airport 2 hours early," what they mean is 2 hours before departure.
But departure time is just a suggestion. Boarding time is the deadline. On international flights, that gate closes 40 to 50 minutes before you're scheduled to move.
So think about it this way. If your 2 hours includes check-in, long security, passport control, extra screening, and walking to a gate that might as well be in the next county, well, you aren't early. You're gambling and rolling the dice.
And when you lose that bet, the airline hits you with the most expensive tax of all, a rebooking fee. Not just the flight cost, but the hotel night you now missed, the tour you already paid for, and the connection that you've blown.
We've seen travelers lose thousands of dollars because they aimed for the wrong number. And in 2026, security has never been slower, tighter, and more annoying. So give yourself extra time.
Find out exactly when that gate closes and then add in the current airport security wait times. You can use the airline's app, and that helps a lot. Once you have done all of that, add a 30-minute buffer.
We now plan our entire airport timeline around that boarding time. That's the number on the boarding pass that actually has consequences. Because once they close that door, the plane can be parked right there, visible through the window. You're looking on it with the engine still off.
And you could wave, and the flight attendant might even wave back. But you're not getting on that plane.
No, they don't care that security took 45 minutes. And they don't care that the guy in front of you had to unpack an entire carry-on because he forgot about the peanut butter, which, by the way, counts as a liquid in the new scanners. Now, we also want to touch on liquids. The rule is that you have to be 100 milliliters or less in a plastic container.
But things are changing. At Heathrow Airport, for example, you can now bring up to 2 liters of liquids. So hey, if you've been shopping and you got a great face cream from Europe or a conditioner for your hair that costs £100, well, you'll probably want to put that in your carry-on.
However, that doesn't always work. Take, for example, if you were flying from Heathrow through Toronto to Vancouver, well, then by the time you get to Toronto, then you would have that confiscated because the rules are different in different countries. Isn't that nice?
So the best rule that we can give you is to just keep it consistent. Keep your liquids at under 100 milliliters and you'll be just fine.
The final tax happens after you've won the security battle, the repacking tax. You survived the scanner, but then you stand at the end of the conveyor belt, repacking your shoes, your phone, your toiletries, rearranging your entire life.
Meanwhile, the line is backing up, people are leaning over you, it's high stress, high chaos, and in that chaos, things get left behind. A laptop, a pouch with your medication, a passport.
Or worse, someone accidentally grabs your laptop because it looks like every other silver MacBook Pro in the world.
So put a bright sticker on your laptop or anything that says, "This one's mine," in a sea of identical aluminum rectangles.
Also, and this feels small, but it matters, as you approach the security line, put all your loose valuables into your bag. Your phone, wallet, keys, watch, anything that would normally go in a tray.
Loose items in a tray are how things disappear. They're small, they're fast, they slide, they look like everyone else's phone.
We like the one pouch rule. Before you hit security, everything loose goes into one zip pouch or one zip jacket pocket.
And listen, the end of the conveyor belt is not in your dressing room. Grab your bins, move to a repacking area behind the checkpoint, then put yourself back together.
And this does two things. First, it keeps the security line moving, but more importantly, it puts you in a calm, low-pressure space where you can actually inventory what you have.
Airport security isn't trying to ruin your trip, but it is a system designed to maximize efficiency, not to protect your wallet. And here's what a lot of Canadian travelers miss. Several Canadian airports, including Toronto Pearson, Vancouver, Montreal, Calgary, they have U.S. Customs pre-clearance.
Which means you clear American immigration before you even leave Canada, which is genuinely great when it works.
But it also means you need extra time at the Canadian end. And a lot of people, they don't budget time for that.
So here's the formula. Look up your airport's current security wait times on their website or app. Find out what time boarding starts, and work backwards from boarding. Add in time for check-in, security, passport control, and the inevitable walk to your gate.
And now, for Canadians going to or through the United States, there is one more huge travel trap.
Yep, it's called the digital border trap.
If you are flying to the U.S. or connecting through the U.S., you are not only dealing with airport security, you're dealing with U.S. border officials.
And that is a very, very different room. U.S. Customs and Border Protection says electronic device searches are rare, but they can happen. Phones, laptops, tablets, cameras, external drives, all that stuff.
And if you get sent to secondary inspection, that can mean delays, missed connections, missed boarding, missed cruises, missed hotel nights.
So before you travel, make sure your devices are charged. Also make sure that your travel story makes sense. Where are you going? Where are you staying? When are you leaving? What are you doing there?
You don't need to arrive with a courtroom binder, but you should have the basics ready. Hotel name, return ticket, cruise documents, travel insurance, and an address of where you are staying.
Now, sometimes the most expensive airport mistake is not always what you pack, it's what you forgot to check before you left home.
Do I have my passport, visa, return ticket? Device, is it charged? And do my documents match? It only takes less than 5 minutes. I have literally seen people on the parking lot shuttle to the airport realizing that they forgot their tickets.
So listen, 5 minutes before you leave home can save you from 5 hours at the airport, $5,000 in losses, and one very sad ride back from departures.
And nobody wants to be driven home from departures. That's the saddest loop road in travel.
It really is. So we want to hear from you. What's the most expensive thing you've ever lost at airport security? Or the most expensive mistake you've almost made? Let us know in the comments.
And if you know someone flying this summer, share this with them, because the best travel advice is the kind that arrives just before the mistake does.
Safe travels, everybody. Don't lose your stuff. Don't lose your flight. And please, for everyone's sake, empty your water bottle before you reach the scanner.
See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
Ciao for now.